Good afternoon, baseball fans, and welcome to this very special Chippewa Valley cable television production, a matchup between our two district high schools, Chippewa Valley and Dakota. I'm Brad Fetters, coming to you from Ernie Harwell Field on the campus of Wayne State University. A picture-perfect day in the Motor City. Sunny skies and temperatures in the low 80s. A good steady breeze is blowing out to right center field. Two head coaches of our two programs, Greg Sadowski of Chippewa Valley and Angelo Palouf, the head man at Dakota, having a final conversation at home plate with our two umpires for today's ball game. Dakota will be the designated home team for this afternoon's game. They come in with a record of 1-1, coming off a 13-3 victory yesterday over Lakeview. Big Reds, on the other hand, our road team, come in with a record of 1-2. Dakota taking the field. Will DeMassey will be the man on the mound, getting the start tonight for the Dakota Cougars, rather. DeMassey, a senior, will be pitching next season right here for Wayne State University. His battery mate will be Alex Kavalik. Around the infield, Max McPeak, Jaden Ford at shortstop, Charlie Chmielewski at second, and Ryan Jarvis will man first base. In left field will be Evan Johnston. Landon Moore will patrol center. And Brendan Borowitz will be in right. Let's meet the starting lineup now for the Chippewa Valley Big Reds. Leading off, the center fielder, Jamari Cusimano. Batting second, the shortstop, Ryan McKay. Batting third will be the catcher, Zach Freitag. Cleaning up will be the right fielder, Andrew Wamser. DHing and batting fifth, Ben Green. Patrolling left field and batting sixth, Zach Douglas. Mateo Borghese will be at first and bat seventh. Joey Lazari, the third baseman, will bat eighth. And batting ninth, the second baseman, Alex Hall. DeMassey finishing up his tune-up tosses. Nearly set to go in what should be an outstanding game between our two rival high schools. Dakota in their home green jerseys with white numerals and white pants. Chippewa Valley clad in their road grays with gray hats and red brims. Jamari Cusimano, the senior center fielder, will lead things off. Comes into play with a .429 average. Terrific leadoff man. He's come around and scored 5 different times for the Big Reds. Cusimano will be playing next season at Macomb Community College. Left-hand batter digs in, nearly set to go. DeMassey out of the windup, comes home with the pitch, fouled straight back over top of us. Cusimano, McKay, and Freitag, the first three in the Big Red lineup. Cusimano holds those hands just behind his right ear. Pitch catches the outer half of the plate. Quickly 0-2 on Cusimano. DeMassey glares in, comes home with the 0-2 pitch. Soft liner to the second baseman, Chmielewski. 1 up, 1 down. Ryan McKay will be batting second in this Big Red lineup. Really a spark plug, kind of a tone setter at the shortstop position. Comes in riding a .333 batting average, 3 runs batted in, and has come around to score 6 times. Massey's first pitch catches the corner. No balls, 1 strike on McKay, the senior shortstop. Another fastball paints the black. Quickly 0-2 on McKay. McKay last season as a junior, 430 average, 551 slugging percentage, and a 508 on base percentage. Was all MAC White, all district, all region, and a first team all county player in Macomb. And a swing and a miss. First strikeout of the ball game for DeMassey. 2 up, 2 down now for the Big Reds. And it'll leave things up to the first baseman, Zach Freitag. Freitag, 556 average, couple RBI. Junior also plays football for the Big Reds. Pitch misses out and away. Slightly open stance for Freitag. Evens up the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. DeMassey really pounding that outer part of the plate. Terrific look from our center field cam. Kavlik goes down to a knee. That pitch misses just outside. It'll peel down to the first base umpire, who says Freitag did not go. So 2 balls, 1 strike. Freitag getting the start this afternoon at catcher. Also does play a little bit of first base. Wide strike zone. The home plate umpire. As Freitag takes the first strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Just underway here from Harwell Spicer Field on the campus of Wayne State University. So glad you decided to tune us in on Chippewa Valley Cable Television. DeMassey glares in at his catcher, shakes him off. Now comes home with the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts. A 1-2-3 inning for Will DeMassey. Cougars coming to bat in the home half of the first inning. Welcome back, bottom of the first inning. Let's meet the Dakota starting lineup. Leading things off, playing center field, Landon Moore. Batting second to shortstop, Jaden Ford. Batting third and playing first base, Ryan Jarvis. Cleaning up will be the catcher, Alex Kavalik. Batting fifth and playing second base, Charlie Chmielewski. The sixth batter will be the third baseman, Max McPeak. Batting seventh, the right fielder, Brendan Borowitz. Batting eighth, the left fielder, Evan Johnston. And Donovan Hugh will be the ninth batter and will DH. Around the infield for Chippewa Valley, Lazari down at third, McKay at short, Hall will man second base, and Borghese will be at first. In the outfield, Zach Douglas in left, Kuzmano in center, and Andrew Wamser in right field. Zach Freitag will be the catcher, and Lucas Basil will get the start on the mound. Basil, 6 foot, 175-pound right-handed pitcher. Moore, the center fielder, leading things off. Works the count to 2 balls, no strikes. Big Red outfield has more shifted over to the left side. Center fielder kind of in that left center gap. Infield has more straight up. Basil rocks, kicks, and fires. Reaching out, poking that one into straightaway center field. Kuzmano with the running catch. Loses his hat in the process, but 1 up, 1 down. I'll bring up Jaden Ford. Ford, the talented sophomore, looking to get going offensively. Carries a 143 average into play today. Takes a look at a pitch outside for a called strike. And Basil steps off. Appears to be ready to go now. Comes to the belt. Another pitch on the outside part of the plate. Quickly, no balls, 2 strikes on Jaden Ford. Ryan Jarvis, who has gotten off to a terrific start, waits on deck. And Ford went around. Strikeout victim, second out of the inning. And it will bring up Ryan Jarvis, first baseman, off to a 5-for-7 start. That's a 7.14 average. Already has a dinger and 4 RBI in that 3-hole for Dakota. Kind of crowds the plate. Takes a look at a first pitch strike. Pitch misses low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike to Jarvis. Dimensions here at Harwell Spicer Field: 310 down the left field line, 379 into the left center gap, 420 in straightaway center, 370 in right center, and 320 down the right field line. And you may have noticed that big giant green monster-like wall out in left field. The field here has the same left field and center field dimensions as Fenway Park, as Jarvis goes down swinging. So both pitchers with a couple of strikeouts after 1 inning of play. No score.
These are some facts about youth alcohol use. While the good news is that underage drinking has declined over the years, rates of youth alcohol use are still high. 30% of 12th graders in the United States reported drinking in the past month. Alcohol use by teens frequently involves binge drinking. Regular alcohol use can damage the developing teen brain, creating problems with learning, memory, and processing information. Youth alcohol use is associated with other negative consequences, including poor school performance, injury and death from car crashes, suicide, mental health issues, and use of other drugs. The majority of those diagnosed with an alcohol use disorder in adulthood began drinking by the age of 18.
Top of the second inning. After a very quiet start to this ball game, no score. Both teams looking for base runners here. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 for Chippewa Valley. Andrew Wamser, the right fielder, to lead things off. So I made mention of that Fenway Park like green monster out in left field. Green monster here at Wayne State University, 37.5 feet tall. Now Fenway's green monster is only 37 feet 2 inches tall. So the green monster here at Wayne State has about 4 inches on that of the Fenway green monster. Wamser's second at-bat of the season, looking for his first hit of the season. Ben Green waiting on deck. Sophomore will be DHing this afternoon. Called strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Wamser. Swings through that pitch. Foul tips it into the catching glove of Alex Kavalik. 3rd straight strikeout now for DeMassey. We made mention that Will DeMassey will be pitching next season for this very Wayne State team. Appear to be getting a good one. Ben Green, the sophomore, carries a .500 average into play this afternoon. Also has 3 RBI. So quite the force right in the middle of this Greg Sadowski lineup. Which misses out. 2 balls, no strikes to Green. Massey pumps that fastball right over the heart of the plate. Still good hitters count here for Green. Cavalick goes down to that one knee, trying to set up down low. And instead, Ben Green pokes it into right field, makes a wide turn at first, and will hold. First base run of the game, first hit of the game belongs to Ben Green. It's a single for the sophomore. And that'll bring up Zach Douglas. Douglas making his first start of the season. Senior patrolling left field for Chippewa Valley. So first time we're seeing DeMassey having to throw out of the stretch. Healthy lead off at first for Green. The ball bounces in the dirt. Good block by Cavalick, kept the ball in front of him and held Green over at first base. This is a artificial turf surface in the infield only. And the grass surface and the dirt surface kind of react differently to hit balls. It is supposed to be as true to real grass and dirt as possible. It was recently installed here. Wayne State did have a natural grass field up until this year. So this is the first year that this infield surface is in play. Harwell Field has a capacity of 500 folks. Don't have quite the numbers here this afternoon, but a good, healthy crowd of Dakota Cougar and Big Red faithful in attendance. Pitch misses out, skips all the way to the backstop. Nothing Cavalick could do there. Wild pitch advances Ben Green to second base, and just like that, he is quickly in scoring position. This baseball diamond opened in 1975. Just off I-94. In fact, from our vantage point here in the press box, you can actually see I-94, and that's really why that green monster in left field was installed, to protect traffic from a potential home run ball, as Zach Douglas goes down swinging. 4th strikeout already for Will DeMassey. And we'll leave things up now to Mateo Borghese, the first baseman. That runner still stuck at second base. Shortstop Jaden Ford comes in, makes his presence known, kind of drives Ben Green back towards second just a bit. Foul comes zinging straight back here. Also have major league sized dugouts. Those were installed after the All-Star game was hosted here in Detroit. Leftover dugouts from some of the All-Star game festivities, and Wayne State gladly took possession of those full-size dugouts. You may notice at some point throughout this baseball game there is a full-sized 10-inning scoreboard located inside of the left field fence. And through an agreement with the Detroit Historical Society, that left field scoreboard comes over here to Wayne State University, and that was the left field scoreboard that was at Tiger Stadium. Last game played at the corner of Michigan and Trumbull back in 1999. Now that scoreboard here at Wayne State University. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Borghese, trying to plate the first runner of this ball game. And now they're going to make sure Ben Green hustles back. Swinging through that one. DeMassey ends up striking out the side. A stranded runner at second base. We head to the bottom of the second inning with no score. Bottom of the second inning, no score between the Chippewa Valley Big Reds and the Dakota Cougars. Catcher Alex Kavalik to lead things off here for Dakota. Comes in with a healthy .625 average. Already driven in 5 runs on the young season. As we mentioned, Dakota only played 2 ball games, a couple rainouts. Suffered an 8-7 loss in 8 innings to Brother Rice. Bounced back yesterday with a 13-3 win over Lakeview. Kavalik had a fantastic game in that 8-7 loss to Brother Rice, one of the top teams in the state of Michigan. Had a couple doubles, 2 RBI in that one. Went around, 1 ball, 2 strikes the count on the cleanup hitter. Catcher is a senior. Gonna be going to Alma College next season to play baseball. One of 5 Dakota Cougars that will be playing collegiately next season. Already mentioned Will DeMassey, our starting pitcher, coming here to Wayne State. Good framing job there by Freitag. Nearly stole a strike, but instead, umpire was too wise to that. Called it outside. So 2 balls, 2 strikes to count on Kavalik. Bent stance. Ooh, good pitcher's pitch there. Misses just a bit low. And I'll fill it up. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Cougars looking for their first base runner. Kavalik goes down swinging. Big, mighty cut. Comes up empty. 3rd straight strikeout now for Basil. So both pitchers looking good through the early part of this ball game. Gonna bring up the second baseman, Charlie Chmielewski. Rocking quite the stat line. .625 average, 1 dinger, 6 RBI to lead the team. He also has displayed some speed. So he has 2 stolen bases. Freitag brings that one back into the strike zone. Basil comes home with the 0-1 pitch, missing away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bouncer to the second baseman, deep into the hole. Good play, and they got Chmielewski by a step. Alex Hull had to go to the backhand, and now Chmielewski collides with Borghese, and he is down in a heap. It was a dangerous play. Borghese had to field a tough throw by Alex Hall. A fantastic play by Hall. And then the scary collision down at first base. Quite the play in the backhand by the sophomore Hall. Chmielewski up on his feet, kind of holding his lower back and limping just a bit. I'll tell you what, you don't see many better plays than that by a middle infielder. For Alex Hall to go deep into the hole on his backhand, throw across the body, and get Chmielewski by half a step. Quite the play there by the young sophomore. So we'll leave things up now. Max McPeak. Senior third baseman, batting .250. Limited action. Center fielder Kuzmano shaded up again in the left center gap. So we're looking for McPeak to pull. Basil quickly in his windup. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down here in the bottom of the second inning. Basil comes home with a 2-2 pitch. Slow bouncer to the third baseman Lazari. Fires across the diamond to Borghese. 6 up, 6 down for Lucas Basil on the mound for Chippewa Valley. The Big Reds coming to bat after this brief timeout.
Parents. Many teens today mistakenly believe that vaping decreases anxiety and calms them down.
Vaping nicotine or THC marijuana can actually increase feelings of anxiety and depression.
Vaping can become addictive.
Talk with your child or teen about the dangers of vaping.
If you don't talk with them, who will?
Chippewa Valley coming to bat, top of the third inning, and this was a Big Reds team that finished last season 15-24, just 5-10 in the MAC White. You might say, well, that was quite the struggle last season. Well, it sure was. They started out the season 2-0, and then they lost 12 straight ball games. Coach Sadowski said the season really turned around when they beat Notre Dame Prep at Comerica Park. So this is a Big Red team that is very familiar with the big stage, having played a game last season at Comerica Park and now this year at Wayne State, as Joe Lazari grounds out to the third baseman. So Chippewa Valley starts out 2-12 and kind of wrap up the regular season, and perhaps you don't really think much of the chances for the Big Reds. Well, then they went on one of the more improbable runs a baseball team has ever gone on. So Alex Hall steps in and takes a called strike. They won a district game 4-3 over Utica Ford. Then they took on this very Dakota team in the district semifinals, and they dispatched Dakota 5-4 in 8 innings. Another called strike in the outer corner. No balls, 2 strikes to Alex Hall, the second baseman. So that set up a matchup with the Anchorberry Tars in the district finals. Well, the Big Reds won that ball game 5-2. Alex Hall goes down looking. Big Reds eventually beat Detroit Western 2-1 in the regionals before losing to state runners-up Grosse Pointe North in the regional finals 5-0. That game that they beat Detroit Western 2-1 in regionals was won on this very field here at Wayne State University. Big Reds were eventually named Macomb County Team of the Year, and Coach Greg Sadowski was named Coach of the Year. What a turnaround to start out the season 2-12, win a district championship, win a game in regionals. First trip to the regional championship in school history. Grosse Pointe North team, a perennial power in the state of Michigan. Kuzmano's worked the count to 3 balls, 1 strike. Kuzmano 0 for 1, lined out the second baseman Chmielewski back in the first, and this time works a walk. So the second base runner of the ball game now for the Big Reds. And brings up talented shortstop Ryan McKay. Shortstop and pitcher. Going to be going to Macomb Community College. Snap throw down to first. Kuzmano back in with a head first slide. A little conference between Kavlik, the catcher, and Will DeMasi, the pitcher. Message sent, message received there between pitcher and catcher. Zach Freitag waiting in the on-deck circle. Catcher waiting to see if he's going to get an opportunity here in the top of the third inning. Pitch misses up and away. 2 balls, no strikes to McKay. It's the first time in this ball game that DeMasi has had some difficulties finding the strike zone. That pitch skips away from Kavlik, allows Kuzmano to scamper down to second base. So for the second straight inning, Big Reds have had a runner in scoring position. He stranded Ben Green back in the second. Might have heard Greg Sadowski say green light here to Ryan McKay. Pitch misses. Oh, it's going to catch the upper strike zone. 3 balls, 1 strike now to McKay. Kuzmano, healthy leadoff second base, looking to score on anything to the outfield. McKay lifts one to right field. Borowitz camps under it and makes the catch. So the Big Reds threaten but do not score. Cruising along here as we head to the bottom of the third inning with no score. There's a good look at the campus here at Wayne State University. Some of the student housing just out in foul territory in right field. And the massive advertisement that runs kind of parallel with the expressway. Bottom third of the Dakota lineup looking for their first base runner. Brendan Borowitz, the right fielder, to lead things off. This Dakota team 17-16 a year ago, 8-7 in the MAC Red, so really quite the up and down season that ended up just about 500. The team back in 2021 was phenomenal. They won the MAC Red, they won a district championship, finished that year 26-9, including an impressive 12-3 in MAC Red play. Perhaps the best team to come out of Dakota was that 2019 team. Not only did they win a district championship, but they won a regional championship, and they made it all the way to the Final Four in the state of Michigan. The 18 team wasn't bad either. The 18 team won a MAC Red championship, a district championship, and a regional championship. So that senior class of 2019, really good group to come through Dakota High School. So full count here on Borowitz. Payoff pitch hammered into right field. And it's over the head of the right fielder, Wamser. And allow Borowitz to dig in. And he will head into third with a leadoff stand-up triple. First hit of the ball game for the Cougars is a big one. Borowitz drove that into the right center gap. No hesitation whatsoever, hit second base. Turn the Jets on. Evan Johnston, the left fielder, now with an opportunity to drive in the first run of the game. Takes a called strike. Johnston batting .250. You mentioned very early on in both of these teams' seasons. Called strike on the corner. Home plate umpire has been very consistent in calling that outside pitch a strike. Basil pauses at the letters, comes home with the pitch. Johnson rolls one over to first base. Look the runner back, but instead Borowitz slides underneath the tag. A little bit of a hesitation by Borghese at first. Allowed Borowitz to scamper home. Well, scored a fielder's choice there for Evan Johnston. But we will give him an RBI. As Borowitz comes home with the first run of the game. Well, just a little bit of hesitation there by Borghese. So he was trying to contemplate if he was going to take the easy out at first. Kind of glanced over at Borowitz, the runner at third, but didn't check him all the way back. Didn't make any sort of movement in terms of coming home with his feet. Instead, fired a throw to Freitag at home plate. And that slightest hesitation allowed Borowitz to slide underneath the Freitag tag. And the Cougars now lead 1-0. Donovan Hughes squares around to bunt, pulls the bat back, takes a pitch for a ball. Time fouled away behind home plate. Hugh the DH, DHing for the pitcher, Will Damasi. Basil steps off the runner. Johnston heads back over to first base without a throw. Breaking ball, Hugh cuts through and misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody down. So an opportunity here for Dakota as they're going to turn it over to the top of their lineup and Landon Moore. Another fake over to first. Basil checks the runner, comes home with it. Hugh. We'll have another fielder's choice at second base as they cut down the lead runner. So bring up Landon Moore. Flew out to the center fielder back in the first. Andrew Hall, the second baseman, shaded up the middle. Trying to turn 2. Wasn't quite the feed you were looking for at second base, so unable to turn it over. Moore squares around to bunt. Misses. Throw down to first base. Donovan Hugh with the back with a head-first slide. They might have got him. Borghese unable to catch that ball cleanly and apply a tag. Would have been close down there at first. Moore with that protective pad on his front foot. Runner takes off for second. Throw in plenty of time And they'll cut down Hugh trying to steal. Terrific on the base throw by Freitag, the catcher. Cuts down the runner, Hugh. So just like that, 2 outs. Nobody on now for Landon Moore. Moore able to check his swing. Moore lifts one to straightaway center. Kuzmano 3 steps back, battling the wind, able to make the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. But the damage done, a leadoff triple by Brendan Borowitz. He eventually comes around to score on the fielder's choice. The Dakota Cougars have taken the lead after 3 innings of play. They lead it 1-0.
Parents, your children's brains are still developing.
The brains of children and teens continue to develop until they are in their mid-20s and can be damaged if they use alcohol, marijuana, vape products, or other drugs.
Damage can include lifelong problems with memory, learning, behavior, and can result in addiction.
Talk early and talk often to your children and teens about these dangers.
This message is from the Chippewa Valley Coalition for Youth and Family.
Top of the 4th inning, and there's an outstanding look at that left field scoreboard that used to be in the base of the left field wall over at Tigers Stadium. As we mentioned, that's property of the Detroit Historical Society. It wasn't fully functional here at Ernie Harwell Field until just recently. So credit to the entire athletic department and facilities managers for getting that operational and working. It is a very cool part of what is a fabulous facility here at Harwell Spicer Field. If you grew up or lived in the state of Michigan, you know, of course, who Ernie Harwell is, who this field is named after. Ernie Harwell spent 55 seasons as a play-by-play announcer, including 42 summers here in Detroit, the Detroit Tigers. Obviously his famous calls. That ball is long gone was his home run call. Stood there like the house by the side of the road and watched it go by for a called 3rd strike. And of course, the infamous, it's 2 for the price of 1 for the Tigers. Anytime that Lou Whitaker and Alan Trammell would turn a double play, a legendary double play combo for the Detroit Tigers. Freitag, a slow grounder up the middle, charging, making the play, Jaden Ford. So that put out goes 6-3. Ernie Harwell won the Ford Frick Award back in 1981, which includes special honors at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Wamser having to avoid that inside pitch. Andrew Wamser, the right fielder, was a strikeout victim back in the 2nd. Of course, Ernie Harwell has his name on the Tigers Wall of Honor and a statue down at Comerica Park. Wamser swings and misses quickly in a 1-1 count. Off-speed pitch misses up and away. Kavlik setting up inside. Wamser swings through. Massey has not been in any sort of trouble. He's given up just 1 hit. He's walked a batter. And another strikeout there of Wamser. 2nd strikeout of the game for Wamser. 7th strikeout in this ball game for DeMassey. A little last factoid about Ernie Harwell. He's the only announcer in baseball history to ever be traded for a player. That player was Cliff Dapper. Ben Green, the only hit of the ball game for Chippewa Valley. At the plate now. Sophomore DH takes a called strike. Pitch bounces in the left-handed batter's box. So 1 ball, 1 strike on Green. Massey comes home with it. It's popped up. Playable for Ryan Jarvis. And he will make the catch in front of his home dugout. So another 1, 2, 3 inning for Will DeMassey. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Dakota Cougars in front, 1-0. Good old pitcher's duel here from the campus of Wayne State University. Chippewa Valley and Dakota 1-0 Cougars out in front. Lucas Basil back on the bump for the Big Reds. Each just faced 1 over the minimum in this ball game. It finds himself trailing 1-0. The lone run of the game belonging to Dakota. Brendan Borowitz tripled and came around to score in the bottom of the 3rd. Jaden Ford to lead things off for the Cougars. Jarvis and Kavlik to follow in the lineup. It'll be 2-3-4. Ford rolls one over to the second baseman. Alex Hall over to Borghese. 4-3 on the putout. We mentioned Ernie Harwell. This is Harwell Spicer Field. And you might be asking yourself, well, who is Spicer? It's S. Gary Spicer Sr., a member of the Wayne State Athletic Hall of Fame. As Jarvis went too far on that off-speed pitch. S. Gary Spicer was co-chair of the Harwell Field Project. That got everything taken care of here for Wayne State baseball. The addition to the Green Monster, the new scoreboards, the beautiful press box that I'm calling this game from, stands behind home plate, as well as the new field turf. If you know anything about Wayne State baseball, for the longest time, they put on the Alan Trammell and Lance Parrish baseball camp, and Spicer was also co-founder of that. Big-time donor as well to Wayne State athletics and the campus itself. And where S. Gary Spicer Sr. kind of made his fame and was as a lawyer, and he served as legal counsel for Alan Trammell, Kirk Gibson, as well as Ernie Harwell. Was legal counsel for a couple of famous country music acts, including Conway Twitty and the Oak Ridge Boys. Ryan Jarvis swings through that pitch, comes up empty. Another strikeout now for Basil, his 4th of the ball game. So if you like defense and pitching, you've come to the right spot, and we're so glad you decided to tune us in live here on YouTube. To thank all the folks watching at home that were able to make the trip down to Wayne State to watch this ball game. Talking to the Chippewa Valley team prior to the start of this ball game, Brendan Parks, number 12, came over to me and he said, "You guys are going live today?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, make sure you say hi to Grandpa Jim for me." So, hello, Grandpa Jim, from your grandson, Brendan Parks, number 12 on Chippewa Valley. It's a rare treat for us to call baseball, a rare treat to call baseball in the middle of April under such sunny skies. Such a cool opportunity for both of these teams to get to play here on the campus of Wayne State. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count on the catcher, Alex Kavalik. Kind of the thunder right in the middle of this Dakota lineup. Pitch misses low and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kavalik, one of those strikeout victims, one of those 4 strikeout victims for Lucas Basil. Basil rocks, comes home with the pitch, and ringing him up. Kavalik, a strikeout victim for the 2nd time in the ball game. 2 strikeouts in the inning. We've played 4. Dakota Cougars in front, 1-0.
These are some facts about youth marijuana use from the National Institute on Drug Abuse and the Centers for Disease Control. The potency of marijuana has increased significantly over the years, making it a more addictive drug. 1 in 6 teens that use marijuana regularly can become addicted to it. Marijuana use can damage the developing teen brain, creating problems with learning, memory, attention, problem solving, and other functioning. Youth marijuana use is associated with many negative consequences, including poor school performance and school dropout, injury and death from car crashes, mental health issues, and less life satisfaction. For more information on youth marijuana use, visit drugabuse.gov and cdc.gov.
Top of the 5th inning. Chippewa Valley coming to bat, trailing 1-0. Dakota head coach Angelo Pluff having a conversation with the home plate umpire in between innings, and Matt Staccato has been put into the ball game for Dakota. He will now play first base. Another change as Mike Wooters has moved over to second base. So a couple changes defensively for Dakota. We'll let you know if we spot any other changes to the defensive linemen here in the 5th. Coach keeping us busy with those changes. Don't have the PA announcer to clue us in on those changes. The comebacker to DeMasi over to Chicago for the first out. Big Reds with just 2 base runners, 1 hit. That was a single for Ben Green back in the 2nd. The other base runner came in the 3rd. That was on a base on balls to Kuzmano. Borghese, the first baseman, now coming up for his 2nd plate appearance of the ball game. Was a strikeout victim back in the 2nd. 1 of 7 in the game for Will DeMasi, as he has been lights out for Dakota throughout this ball game. Called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike now the count to Borghese. Joel Lazari waits on deck. Borghese, one of a couple players, including Zach Douglas, that will be playing baseball next season for St. Clair County Community College. We mentioned Jamari Kuzmano will be playing for Macomb Community College. And Joel Lazari on deck will be playing for Lords, which is down in Sylvania, Ohio. So Borghese strikes out for the 2nd time in the ball game, and that'll leave things up to Joel Lazari. We'll get another look there. Yep, clearly Borghese went around too far. 8th strikeout now on the afternoon for DeMasi. Continues to nibble on that outside part of the plate. Home plate umpire is going to call it. You might as well live out there. Lazari grounded out to the 3rd baseman McPeak in his lone plate appearance. In outfield plays them straight up. Chicago, the first baseman, towards the line just a bit at first base. Dakota outfielders, especially the center fielder, Landon Moore, play a lot deeper than Chippewa Valley's outfielders. That breeze that we mentioned at the very top of the broadcast has died down just a bit, but still blowing out. Lazari asks for and is granted time. Deep in that right-hand batter's box, foot on the line, in fact. And he grounds one sharply to the second baseman, Mike Wooters. And once again, 3 up, 3 down. Will DeMassey in cruise control right now for the Cougars. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Cougars lead it 1-0. Mike Wooters to lead things off for the Cougars here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Wooters making the last play in the field at second base, just recently added to the Dakota lineup. And seemingly is always what happens in the game of baseball. You make the final play in the field, and then of course you're the leadoff man. High chopper, no play for the third baseman. And Wooters will give him a hit. Leadoff single for Wooters. Looks like Wamser's moved over to third base. Turner Bauer at short. Lucas Basil now is moved to second base. Gavin Mace in relief at the pitcher's position. Quick throw down to first. Wooters back in. So wholesale changes defensively for the Big Reds. So Lucas Basil ends up going 4 innings. Gave up 1 run, 1 earned run. And just that 1 hit in this ball game. Ended up striking out 5. And Wooters in underneath the slide, so a stolen base. They put Mike Wooters in motion, and he comes up with a stolen base. It's him in scoring position now. Kavlik gonna want to talk to his pitcher. Andrews squares around and bunts. And they'll get Andrews. Sacrifice. So that was Jake Andrews that dropped down the bunt. Andrews replaces McPeak. Try to keep track of as many changes as possible here. Brendan Borowitz going to stay in the game. He tripled and scored. One of 2 hits in this ball game for Dakota. Cole Fields, the new pitcher in for Chippewa Valley, rather. Borowitz slices one down the right field line. Wooters comes around to score. The right fielder slips. And Borowitz, second triple of the ball game, gives the Cougars now a 2-0 lead. So Dakota plays a little bit of small ball. Mike Wooters with the single, stole second. Jake Andrews sacrificed him over to third, and then Borowitz comes up with the second three-bagger of the afternoon. And it gives Dakota the 2-0 lead. Borowitz with the RBI. Evan Johnston now an opportunity. And with the way the Massey's pitching, those 2 runs might just be enough. Fielder's choice RBI for Johnston, his second of the ball game. Borowitz scampers home. And just like that, damage done. Dakota leads it 3-0. Brings up the 9th place batter, Marley. That ball rolled foul. So they lift Donovan Hugh and put in Luke Marley. So both coaching staffs electing to go to some of their reserves and get as many guys into this ball game as possible. A tough play for the second baseman, Rashad Franklin. And it's a single up the middle for Luke Marley. Garbarino replaces Landon Moore in the lineup now. Ball came out of the first baseman's glove. Field umpire initially called him out at first base, but just unable to hold the tag on. So new life here for the Cougars. Called strike. Woo. Just caught the corner there. Garbarino can't believe it, steps out. Foul tip into the glove of the catcher, the final out of the inning. The Cougars plate 2 after 5 innings of baseball, lead it 3-0.
Parents. Many teens mistakenly believe that the THC in marijuana is a safe drug.
They don't know today's marijuana is a highly potent drug and that using it can result in
harm to the developing brain, learning problems, anxiety and depression, and can lead to addiction.
Talk with your child or teen about the dangers of marijuana use. If you don't talk with them, who will?
Top of the 6th inning. Big Reds running out of opportunities in this ball game. Now find themselves trailing 3-0. Andrews remains in the game for Dakota. Will play third base. Double play duo of Matt Wooters and Mike Wooters now occupying short and second. As there's a leadoff single there by Rashad Franklin. Franklin taking over for Alex Hall at second base. I'll turn it over to the top of the Big Red lineup. Pitch missing, low and away. Be number 9 now into the game, Evan DiBucci. Throw over to first. Franklin in with the head first slide. So all these changes to both lineups, just an absolute nightmare for your play-by-play announcer. DiBucci grounds one to third base. Sprawling attempt there by Andrews. But it gets past his glove. Wooters backing him up, nearly made the play. But back-to-back singles now for the Big Reds to lead off the top of the 6th inning. So this will be Gavin Mace, freshly installed into the game for Ryan McKay. Huge opportunity in this ball game for Gavin Mace. He squares around a bunt, fouls it straight back. Thankfully, a protective netting is behind us. Fry tag, catcher waits on deck. Big bat in the middle of this Big Red lineup. Franklin the runner at second. Evan DiBucci at first. Gavin Mace at the plate. Looks at a called strike. No balls, 2 strikes. 2 of the 3 Chippewa Valley hits have come in this 6th inning. Mace, slightly open stance, holds a bat on his back shoulder, looks at one too many, and then the throw from Kavalik sails into right field, and they're going to hold the runner Franklin at third. So Mace, a strikeout victim. Both runners advance. On the bad throw by the catcher Kavalik. And now Fry tag an opportunity to get the Big Reds back in this ball game. Greg Sadowski, the head coach at Chippewa Valley, holding Franklin there at third. Obviously didn't want to make the second out of the inning at home plate. Got to feel pretty good with your big man Fry tag at the plate with 2 runners in scoring position. Greg Sadowski, the owner of No Doubt Showcase. Baseball program that gets players ready for the next level. Sadowski played his baseball at Rochester College. Turner Bauer on deck for the Big Reds. See Fry tag and get the job done. DeMassey drilled him. Hit by pitch. Below the bases. Another look there at that hit by pitch. So Bauer, the biggest opportunity in this game for Chippewa Valley. Pitching coach for Dakota going to come and talk to Will DeMassey, the entire infield. He's going to have a confab at the mound. Just one out here in the top of the 6th inning. Rashad Franklin led the inning off with a single. Evan DiBucci singled. Gavin Mace went down swinging, but an errant throw by Kavalik, the catcher, allowed both Franklin and DiBucci to advance 90 feet. And Freitag, the catcher, was drilled by that last pitch. And just like that, the base is now chock full of Big Reds, and an opportunity for Turner Bauer in his first plate appearance of the ball game to get his Big Reds back in it. Middle of the Cougar infield at double play depth. Chicago, the first baseman, in on the infield grass. Both corners in for Dakota. Bauer lifts one foul, just over top of the Dakota bench. Cougar outfield playing straight up. Pitch misses low and away. DeMassey, first time in this ball game that he has been in trouble. He has limited the base runners throughout this ball game. Chippewa Valley has left only 2 runners on base. Coming into this inning, only had 1 hit. Doubled that total up here, top half of the 6th inning. Bauer just a little bit late, fouls that one away, and is quickly in a 1-ball, 2-strike hole. DeMassey pauses at the belt, comes home with the pitch, misses low and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bauer crouched down. Hangs those hands over home plate. DeMassey missing low and away. Full count now. Nowhere to put Bauer. Big moment in this ball game. Bauer chokes up slightly on the bat. Payoff pitch. Misses low. And a walk in a run, the first of the ball game for Chippewa Valley. Just like that, the Big Reds on the scoreboard for the first time. Find themselves trailing 3-1. Now bring up Ben Green. Base is still loaded. Green 1 for 2. Singled in the 2nd, popped out to the first baseman back in the 4th. Green hammers one to the shortstop, Wooters. Over to Wooters. Over to first. 2 for the price of 1 for the Dakota Cougars is Will DeMassey. Gets the ground ball he desperately needed. Limits the damage to just 1 run as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Dakota 3, Chippewa Valley 1. Bottom of the 6th inning. Wooters grounds one sharply to the third baseman. Quickly over to first. 1 up, 1 down. terrific ending double play turned defensively by the Cougars. Matt Wooters over to Mike Wooters. Over to Matt Chicato, who's at the plate now for Dakota. And that was quite the opportunity there for the Big Reds to get themselves back in this ball game, but Bo DeMasi just phenomenal on the mound, able to get that ground ball. And Wooters to Wooters, 6-4-3 goes the twin killing. Matt Chicato's first at bat in this ball game. Defensive replacement for Ryan Jarvis. And he laces one into center field. Base hit for Chicato. Perhaps a little something going here offensively for Dakota. I'll bring up the catcher, Alex Kavalik. Talked about the hot start that he has gotten off to offensively. 6 RBI, 625 average, but it's been quiet today with a couple punch outs. New pitcher into the game as well for Chippewa Valley. Ben Green now moves to the mound. So Green, the third pitcher that Coach Greg Sadowski has used. And there's a base hit, just pretty much the same spot that Chicato lined his pitch to. So back-to-back base hits as the Cougars in business. So we'll get a courtesy runner now for Kavalik, the catcher. See who comes out to run for him. Looks like it'll be number 20, Landon Moore. Kavalik, as I mentioned, Alma College next year. Chmielewski Mock Community College. DeMasi Wayne State. Dom Miller will be going to Macomb Community College. Ryan Jarvis to Saginaw Valley State. 5 different athletes on this Dakota team playing baseball next year. And oh, by the way, Blake Garbarino will be playing collegiate football next year. So this is Matt Wooters. And they are going to get just 1 out. They get the force at second. That's all the Big Reds could do defensively. So they cut down the courtesy runner Moore at second. Brings up Andrews. Matt Wooters will swipe second base. We'll call it a defensive indifference. He didn't really try to make any sort of play there at second base to try to catch Matt Wooters from stealing. So a defensive indifference can't give Wooters the stolen base. Big opportunity now for Andrews. Jake Andrews, 2 runners in scoring position. Andrews taking over for Max McPeak at third base. Andrews had a sacrifice bunt back back in the 5th inning. His lone plate appearance, slow grounder to the third baseman. And they get the final out of the inning. So Dakota threatens a couple runners on, but failed to cash it in. We'll head to the 7th inning. Last chance opportunities coming up for the Big Reds.
Parents, your children's brains are still developing.
The brains of children and teens continue to develop until they are in their mid-20s and can be damaged if they use alcohol, marijuana, vape products, or other drugs.
Damage can include lifelong problems with memory, learning, behavior, and can result in addiction.
Talk early and talk often to your children and teens about these dangers.
This message is from the Chippewa Valley Coalition for Youth and Family.
Jaden Ford now in to pitch for Dakota, looking to close things out. Last chance opportunity offensively now for Chippewa Valley. Top of the 7th inning. Dakota in front 3-1. Zach Douglas to lead things off. The 6, 7, 8 hitters for head coach Greg Sadowski. Called strike, evens up the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. Jaden Ford with those flashy neon green kicks. Operating out of the windup, the Old English D clad on the front of those Dakota hats. Been a good old-fashioned ball game here from downtown Detroit, Michigan. So glad you decided to tune us in. I'm Brad Fetters for Chippewa Valley Cable Television. Thank you all at home for tuning in live here on YouTube. Special presentation here on Chippewa Valley Cable. As Douglas goes down swinging, 1 up, 1 down for Ford. Borghese, the first baseman, struck out twice this afternoon. Hard shot. The second baseman, Matt Wooters, gloves it. Flashing the leather down there at second base. And now, Big Reds down to their last out. They've been held to just 3 hits in this ball game. All singles. Ben Green, Evan DiBucci, and Rashad Franklin. All singles. Low and away. 2 balls, no strikes now to Kyle Clark. Clark takes over for Lazari. Slow tapper towards the back screen. Will DeMassey, just phenomenal. 6 strong innings. Limited this Big Red offense to those 3 hits. 1 run, it was earned. There's the final out of the ball game as Kyle Clark goes down swinging. One of 11 strikeouts on the afternoon for Dakota pitching, and what was a phenomenal pitching performance. First out of the starter, Will DeMassey, who went 6 strong, scattered 3 hits, gave up 1 run, struck out 9, walked 1, and hit a batter. The offensive production today at the plate for Dakota came from Brendan Borowitz, picking up his first hits of the season. Both of them triples in this ball game. Came around and eventually scored twice. Borowitz also had an RBI in the ball game. And Evan Johnston wasn't pretty. Didn't come up with a hit, but came up with 2 very clutch RBIs. As Dakota pushed across 2 in the 5th and opened up a 3-0 lead. Chippewa Valley had their opportunity in the 6th inning, loaded up the bases, but only could push across 1 run as Will DeMassey got an inning-ending double play, a 6-4-3 double play off the bat of Ben Green. And that was the difference, as Will DeMassey was phenomenal on the mound all afternoon long for the Dakota Cougars as they improved their record to 2-1. Chippewa Valley falls to 1-3. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our hardworking Chippewa Valley cable television crew. Jason Burnt, he was phenomenal working the camera. Dominic Pacifico, good as well. My main man, Joe Chapo, was in the press box with me, manning the camera behind home plate. Jeff Amacucci was pushing all the right buttons in the live truck. And our guidance, our quarterback, well, we'll call him a pitcher today, Jim Calderon, director and producer for today's ball game. This was a lot of fun, folks. I hope you enjoyed our coverage all afternoon long. Once again, from Ernie Harwell Stadium, the final score, the Dakota Cougars 3, the Chippewa Valley Big Reds 1. For our hardworking Chippewa Valley cable television crew, I'm Brad Fetter saying goodbye one final time. Once again, the final score, the Cougars over the Big Reds, 3-1. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.